Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. What is up? Happy Sunday. Oh, I've got all sorts of things on my desktop now, man. I'm a little bit late today, obviously. I had everything set up, was ready to go live, and OBS wasn't working. Like, none of my things with Stream Deck or anything. Very bizarre. And in trying to restart it, it had an update, and then it really didn't work, and I had to reconfigure all of that. So it set me a little bit behind, but we're here. Happy Sunday. You are loved. I am happy about today's stream. I am hyped. I have got a really cool thing that I want to share with everybody that I think is going to be really helpful. I even got a interactive resource for everybody that's in the Discord. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. It's going to be good. But no real agenda other than no real agenda other than everything. The real agenda is that we're going to be reading. Look at that! I love that green screen effect right there. High Performance Habits by none other than Brendon Burchard. Anybody that's been in my Discord for any amount of time has probably seen me post something about him. If not, it wouldn't surprise me either. I've got too many channels on my Discord server, and I'm trying to trim that up quite a bit. But we're going to be reading some of this today. And I'm excited because I think it's going to have a really strong impact on people that want it to have an impact. The people that want to have an impact on their lives, it's going to have a huge impact on them. There's actually several things I want to read from this, and over time we might read more than just this one chapter, but there is an exercise at the end of the chapter, and that's the whole reason we're reading this today, that I think is really beneficial because it's made a really big impact on my life. What was it? It's been several months now. I'd have to pull up my email or my phone, actually. But I got invited by one of their performance coaches. Yo, Basefaller, what's up, dude? Welcome back. How are you doing today, man? It's good to see you. But yeah, I got invited by one of Brendon Burchard's performance coaches for their one-on-one coaching program. It's very expensive. I wasn't able to afford it. It was an invitation-only, assessment-only sort of situation. And in order to get invited, or in order to get to that point in the process, you kind of talk one-on-one with a coach and do an assessment. And in my assessment, I went through an exercise that has proven to be really beneficial for me, even though I didn't end up being able to finish out the coaching or do anything with the coaching. I mean, the entry price tag was more expensive than the last car I purchased. Yeah, dude. Yeah, Baseballer, I did get a creator code. I am hyped. My creator code is Cashinium for Epic Games. It's pretty cool, dude. I need to do a couple tweaks to my map. I've already submitted it, but the code is also on the Discord for that. But I'm hyped. It went through really, really quick. Hey, Hottie's in the chat. Let's go. Hold on. I'm holding the book. I can't do anything with my hands at the moment. Good to see you. Sick. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Real sick. But what I'm saying, Baseballer, is that I didn't get the chance to go through the coaching that I would have liked to, and hopefully someday maybe have the opportunity to. It was a limited time deal. I'm not really sure if they're going to ever open it back up. But the takeaway from that was something that has been really beneficial for me. And I think it's so simple that I want to pass it on to everybody else because I think it could be really beneficial to anybody that wants it to be. And that's what I was kind of getting at. So I'm going to be reading from High Performance Habits instead of the Bible today. And I think that's what Sunday will end up being. It's an intermixing of both kind of inspirational or helpful reads and scripture. It all ties together to me. And it's just a matter of restoring and uplifting your soul, which can come in many different forms and fashions. Not too long ago, I read my throat is particularly scratchy this morning for no discernible reason other than the copious amounts of coffee I drank. This thing was full earlier. It's not anymore. But yeah, we're going to jump into this and keep getting sidetracked and distracted. We're going to jump into high performance habits. A couple weeks ago, we read stories from Chicken Soup for the Soul. That's what I was getting at. And I liked being able to I like the idea of going back and forth between inspirational reads and scripture. And whatever else is laid on my heart, honestly, that's really what Sundays is about. I go live. I usually don't prepare at all. Today was like the closest exception to that. I don't know. I've made a couple, I've read through a couple things right before, or I've skimmed through things, or I've pulled up something just to jog my memory, but it's usually within the last hour or 30 minutes right before I go live, intentionally. I want it to be just straight from my heart, or straight whatever I'm feeling. Now, this is something that came up in conversation at around 4 in the morning, this morning or something like that. So it wasn't quite last second, but after recalling how big of an impact it had on me and has had on me, I really wanted to go back and read this, and I wasn't sure if it was how well it was highlighted in the book, because I've only skimmed this book. I got this book a while ago. It's so full of information that I've really skimmed it, and everything that I've skimmed from it has been so impactful that I wanted to share some of it with you. I've also shared some of it in the Discord, and I have a resource for everybody in the Discord that you can find under Smile More. I'll be explaining at the end of this. It may not make perfect sense if you just try to jump into it right now. It is kind of a self-explanatory exercise with what I shared there, but you don't get too far ahead of ourselves. Let's go. We're going to be reading Seek Clarity from High Performance Habits, How Extraordinary People Become That Way. And hopefully I can keep myself hydrated enough, or my throat hydrated enough to get through this. Let's see, there's a quote that starts this off. It says, "If you don't have clarity of ideas, you're just communicating sheer sound." And that was Yo-Yo Ma. I love that quote. So then it's broken down. This section is broken down into 3 bullet points. Envision the future for. Determine the feeling that you're after. And define what is meaningful. All right? Keep that in mind. Kate, the woman sitting in front of me crying, has it all. She manages thousands of employees at one of the top companies in her industry. She's an admired leader with dozens of years' experience. Because her company is widely profitable, her high 6-figure salary is almost double the average for her position. But she never lets that go to her head. Her bragging is limited to talking up her team. She's proud of how hard they work and support one another. No matter what Kate is talking about, she can tell she's genuinely interested. You can tell she's genuinely interested in you. She has an indescribable grace about her. Whenever I see her walk into a room, I think of the saying, there are 2 types of people. One walks into the room and announces, "Here I am." The other walks in and says, "Oh, there you are." Kate is raising 3 children. Her mother died from cancer when Kate was 15, so she puts a high value on being present with her kids. Recently, she got another promotion, so her husband Mike quit his job to be home with the kids. They're happy they have more time together. Kate has hired me as her coach, and in order for us to get to know each other better, she invited me to their house in the suburbs for a barbecue. Within a few minutes of arriving at her home that sunny afternoon, I found myself with 4 of her children, chatting over glasses of wine in the kitchen. I feel like I should give credit where credit's due, since I'm reading a book that was literally given to me for free, and I want to give more credit to the author. Give me a second here. Let's do this. Boom. That way, at least, it's a little more clear what it is that we're reading. And anybody, of course, can follow that link, but if you would stick with me, I think it'd be more beneficial than just jumping ahead. Completely up to you, though. I will not be upset. And yes, you can get the entire audiobook for free, and I've got all of these resources available. You can put in your information, or you can jump on the Discord, and all it will be there. I found myself with 4 of her friends, chatting over glasses of wine in the kitchen. I asked how they knew Kate and how they would describe her. They called her an awesome human being, a giver, someone you want to be like, and a success that makes us all look lazy. One friend said Kate was involved in everything, yet always there for you. Another said she was always impressed by how Kate could do it all and still manage to fit into her Lululemons. When another said, "I don't know how she does it," the other 3 women nodded, and like a church congregation. "I don't know how she does it all," the other 3 women nodded, like a church congregation. Shortly after, Kate asked me to sit and chat in her home office. Floor-to-ceiling windows lit the space, and French doors opened to the deck, where I could see Mike working the grill. Kate seemed in good spirits, and then I commented on how her friends admired her. Suddenly, her voice cracked. She said she appreciated their compliments. Then her eyes welled up. She looked away, and with her gaze went her presence. As I often do in these situations, I respond with humor. I ask, "What did I miss? Do you secretly hate one of these women? Or those women?" "What?" She looks confused. But as she realizes I was joking, she snaps back, "Oh." She laughs. No, I'm just emotional right now." "I see that. What's up?" She looks out the window to her husband and friends on the patio. She tries to compose herself, sitting more upright, wiping her tears with the edge of her hand. "It means a lot to me that my friends said nice things, Brendan. I'm glad you're meeting them. And Mike." Her voice cracks again, and the tears come back. Keep coming. Then she looks away again toward the ground and shakes her head. "I'm sorry, my life is just a hot mess right now." "A mess?" I ask. She nods, wipes the tears away, and sits up again. I know, it's silly. Oh, poor me, right? The lady with the good job and good family isn't happy. Sounds like a daytime drama. And I know you're not here to do a therapy session. It's just that when you feel really blessed and people look up to you, it's hard to complain. That's why I asked you here. I'm struggling even if no one sees it. I don't want you or anyone to feel sorry for me. I don't want you to tell me that I'm not a mess. That's what my friends do. It's good for me to let this out. Things are good, but something's not right. Tell me. She takes a deep breath. Have you ever felt like you're just going through the motions, or maybe just too long? I think to myself, is there a proper length of time anyone should live life just going through the motions? But I don't say that because she asked if I have ever felt that. When people are struggling with their emotions, they often externalize the situation and ask questions about other people instead of owning it. Is that what you are feeling, Kate? As if you've been just going through the motions? I guess so. I lean in. How do you explain those two things? Going through the motions and feeling like a mess. She pauses. I don't know exactly. That's why I wanted your perspective. I've just got so many things going on. I feel like I'm always reinventing the wheel and never catching up. So that makes me feel like a mess in some ways. And yet, I'm good at what I do, so I can handle it all. So I feel like I'm just going through the motions, and all the chaos has become almost routine. There's a lot going on, but I'm not drowning. I'm just sort of frustrated and restless at the same time. Does that make sense? It does. How have you been dealing with those feelings? Kate looks unsure and glances out the window. That's the thing. I don't know if I've dealt with it all. I'm doing everything you're supposed to do, you know? They say be present and love your family. I try. Every day, I try to be good for the kids and Mike. They say to be effective. I have the to-do list, the plans, and the checklist to make it happen. I get stuff done. They say be passionate at work. I am. They say be persistent and resilient. I have been. I've risen through so much gender discrimination in my career. I've come a long way, and I'm happy, and no one has to feel sorry for me, but I just don't know, Brendan. Yes, I think you do know. Tell me. She pulls back in her chair, her shoulders slump. She takes a sip of wine as more tears break out. In all this running around and trying to do everything, I'm just starting to feel a little disconnected from it. Sort of lost. I nod and I wait for what almost always comes next. I just don't know what I want anymore. I bet you know a lot of people like Kate. She's hardworking, smart, capable, caring, like a lot of achievers. She has a list of goals and she accomplishes most of them. But the truth is, she doesn't know what will bring the vibrancy back into her life. Without an immediate change in habits, she'll be in trouble. This doesn't mean she will crash and burn. When achievers struggle in real life, it's not like on TV. There's no huge existential dilemma or midlife crisis that causes them to quit everything in an instant, burning their business or relationships to the ground in one sudden manic weekend of insanity. That's not what achievers do. When they're struggling, especially when they are unsure what they want, they tend to march on like good soldiers. They don't want to mess things up. They're afraid to make sudden changes because the reality is that things are good. They don't want to walk away from everything they've worked so hard for. They don't want to go backwards or lose momentum, or be overtaken by their coworker or competitors. They know in their gut that there is another level, a different quality of life, but they feel deep uncertainty over changing what is already working. Improving a bad thing is easy for the achiever, but messing with a good thing? That's terrifying. Uncertain of what they really want, achievers often choose just to keep at it. But at some point, if they don't get very clear about who they are and what they want at this stage in their life, things start to unravel. At the beginning, the decline in their performance is subtle. They start to feel that something is off, so they don't bring as much intent to their efforts. They back off just a bit. That's not to say they feel their life is lacking. I have a lot to be grateful for, they will say. But the issue is not about something external they should feel grateful for. It's that something inside doesn't feel right. Like Kate, they're frustrated or restless even though life is good. They begin to worry. Maybe I haven't found my real thing. Even though they've given so much of their lives to that very thing. When the office lights turn out at the end of the night, or when they finally get a moment of silence after weeks of pushing hard, their internal chatter starts scratching at their reality. In all the complexities I've created in my life, is all the complexity I've created in my life even worth it? Is this the right direction for my family and me at this stage of our lives? If I just took a break, maybe a few months to learn something new or try a new direction, would I miss out or get passed up? Things are good. So if I try something new, will everyone think I'm crazy or I'm just being stupid or ungrateful? Am I just being stupid? Hold on. Things are good. So if I try something new, will everyone think I'm crazy? Am I just being stupid or ungrateful? I'm already stretched pretty thin. Can I really give any more right now? Am I really good enough to play at the next level? Why am I starting to feel so distracted? Why do my relationships feel sort of blah? Why am I not more confident at this point in my life? When these questions go unanswered for too long, an unraveling begins. Someone like Kate starts looking at all the mountains she has summited in life and fears she has climbed too many of the wrong ones. She learns that what it is achievable isn't always what is important. She learns that what is achievable isn't always what is important. Soon, day-to-day motivation wanes. They begin feeling restrained or unfulfilled. They start focusing on protecting their successes versus progressing. Nothing seems thrilling anymore. But no one really notices at first because an achiever is still good. Sure, the passion isn't at the level it used to be, but at least everyone at home and at work is fairly happy. Or maybe just unaware. This is the situation Kate has found herself in. No one knew she was a hot mess, but she couldn't escape the feeling. Ultimately, the dissatisfaction spreads into relationships at home or at work, and others notice. The stress of disappointment imparts a hard edge that upsets loved ones or coworkers. The person misses meetings and calls. They turn work in late. The contribution of good ideas falls off. Calls don't get answered. It's obvious to both the achiever and the people around her that she has started just going through the motions. The excitement, the joy, confidence are gone. And with them goes the performance. If this sounds familiar to you personally, then this chapter is your chance to reset. And if any of this sounds overdramatic, it's probably because you haven't hit that wall yet. Let's make sure you never do. Clarity basics. This is a quote. The feeling is clear and indisputable, as if you suddenly sense the whole of nature and suddenly say, yes, this is true. It's from Fyodor Dostoevsky. Somewhere from Iceland, I presume, something I cannot pronounce very well. This chapter is about finding clarity in your life. It's about how you think about tomorrow and what you do to stay connected with what matters today. The essential habit of seeking clarity helps high performers keep engaged, growing, and fulfilled over the long haul. Our research shows that compared with their peers, high performers have more clarity on who they are, what they want, how to get it, and what they find meaningful and fulfilling. We found that if you can increase someone's clarity, you up their overall high performance score. Whether you have a high degree of clarity in life or not, don't fret, because you can learn to develop it. Clarity is not a personality trait that some are blessed to have and others are not. Just as a power plant doesn't have energy, it transforms energy. You don't have any specific reality. You generate your reality. In this same line of thinking, you don't have clarity. You generate it. So don't hope for a flash of inspiration to reveal what you want next. You generate clarity by asking questions, researching, trying new things, sorting through life's opportunities, and sniffing out what's right for you. It's not as though you walk outside one day and the piano of purpose falls on your head and all things become clear. Clarity is the child of careful thought and mindful experimentation. It comes from asking yourself questions continually and further refining your perspective on life. Clarity, research tells us that successful people know the answers to certain fundamental questions. Clarity research tells us that successful people know the answers to certain fundamental questions. Who am I? What do I value? What are my strengths and weaknesses? What are my goals? What's my plan? These questions may seem basic, but you would be surprised how much knowing the answers can affect your life. Clarity on who you are is associated with overall self-esteem. This means that how positive you feel about yourself is tied to how well you know yourself. On the flip side, lack of clarity is strongly associated with neuroticism and negative emotions. That's why self-awareness is so key to initial success. That last statement had a footnote, and I was looking for it at the bottom of this page, but it's not. It's in the back. That statement he's making. So there's research backing what he's saying. On the flip side, lack of clarity is strongly associated with neuroticism and negative emotions. And there's a footnote, but I'm not going to pull it up right this second. It is referenced. That's why self-awareness is so key to initial success. You have to know who you are, what you value, what your strengths and weaknesses are, and where you want to go. This kind of knowledge makes you feel better about yourself and about life. Next, you need to have unambiguous, and challenging goals. Decades of research show that having specific and difficult goals increases performance. Is the stream actually staying up? Hold on. You probably saw the lights go, right? I'm in the middle of a snowstorm. I'm on a battery backup, so everything should stay up. Give me just a moment here. Just to make sure. I mean, it looks like we're still good. I don't know how, but it looks like we're still good. All the power just flickered. All right. Fantastic. I wonder if I was even going to be able to do this today, honestly. The power was flickering a lot when I woke up. But we're going to keep counting our blessings. Thanks, Hadi. Next, you have to have unambiguous and challenging goals. Decades of research show that having specific and difficult goals increases performance, whether those goals are created by you or assigned to you. Clear stretch goals energize us and lead to greater enjoyment, productivity, profitability, and satisfaction in our work. Also footnoted, there's research behind that as well. Choosing stretch goals in each area of your life makes a good starting place for high performance. You should also give yourself deadlines for your goals, or you won't follow through. Studies show that having a specific plan attached to your goals, knowing when and where you will do something, can more than double the likelihood of having achieved or achieving a challenging goal. Having a clear plan is as important as motivation and willpower. It also helps you see past distractions and inoculates you against negative moods. The more clarity you have, the more likely you are to get stuff done. Even on the days you feel lazy or tired, when you see the steps right there in front of you, it's hard to ignore them. Yo, Mark, how you doing, man? It's good to have you back in the chat, bud. What's up? It's good to see you, buddy. We're reading High Performance Habits. Step 1, seek clarity. And there's a link in the Discord for people. Really cool exercise to do at the end of this chapter that we're going to talk about. And right now I'm just kind of in the beginning parts of the chapter. Take a quick break here shortly because I've drank a lot of coffee and water. Got to run to the restroom. But we're almost at a breaking point. A good breaking point to do that. So we just finished up. You know what I'm reading? Sweet. That's awesome. It's a good book. Really good book. All right. When you see the steps to your goals, basically, I'm just going to recap that last chapter for anybody just joining. When you see the steps for your goals right in front of you, it's really hard to ignore them, obviously. Our research further validates all of this. In one survey, we asked over 20,000 people to read the following statements and rate themselves on a scale of 1 through 5, with 1 being strongly disagree and 5 being strongly agree. 1, I know who I am. I'm clear with my values, strengths, and weaknesses. Rate that. 1 being strongly disagree, 5 being strongly agree. 2, I know what I want. I'm clear with my goals and passions. 1, strongly disagree, 5, strongly agree. I know how to get what I want. I have a plan to achieve my dreams. 1, strongly disagree, 5, strongly agree. Fart boy, Mark. I've missed watching your streams, man. It's all good, bud. You can always go back and watch the VODs. I'm uploading them to YouTube as well. Glad to have you back today. I know the time difference makes it a challenge with you being in Romania. By the way, how can I change my stream avatar? Because I didn't choose that one. Exclamation point avatars. No, extensions. Extension. Exclamation point extension. Right? I'm going to go ahead and do that and run to the restroom real quick. Should pop up right there, and I will be right back. Alrighty, fam. Pardon the interruption here. I had to get caffeinated before my stream to reset my body clock after this weekend. And yeah, caught up with me real quick. Let's jump right back into this. So those were the 3 things that you're rating yourself on, or at least these are the survey that they had done with 20,000 people. These are the 3 areas they'd asked them to rate themselves. And there were a bunch of other categories as well. Thanks for following too, Cash. Of course, dude. Of course, man. You got it. Trying to help you out. But those 3 things, I know who I am, I know what I want, and I know how to get what I want. Just to rate yourself on those 3. The higher the scores on questions such as these, the better the overall high performance score. Data from the high performance indicator also shows that high clarity scores are significantly associated with greater confidence, overall happiness, and assertiveness. Subjects with greater clarity also tend to report that they are performing with more excellence than their peers and feel they are making a greater difference. For students, the higher the scores on clarity, the higher their GPA. This means young people who have more clarity on their values, goals, and path ahead tend to have a higher GPA. Most of this sounds like common sense, of course. Know who you are and what you want isn't exactly cutting edge advice. Still, it bears examination. Are you clear about these things? If not, start there. It can be as simple as journaling about these topics. For now, though, let's focus on the promise of the book. The more advanced concepts that will move the needle in your performance. Yeah. For now, though, let's focus on the promise of the book. The more advanced concepts that will move the needle in your performance. To get there, let's consider what you would tell someone like Kate, who already knows who she is and has set and achieved challenging goals for decades. Oh. Yo, Scarp Sheet. Thanks for that follow, man. I did miss that while I was running to the restroom. Thank you very much. Yes, and she's the only one that gets that one. I'm sorry, Mark, but that is an exclusive. You're never going to win a battle royale as a stormtrooper? What? Oh, he's throwing shade. He's throwing shade. Speaking of, I know you like it when I run those, Mark. I got time to type one out. Let's do it for 500. Let's see. We'll see about that. She's actually won the battle royale. Bruh. Next level clarity is about the future. This is another quote. This is from Martin Luther King Jr. for this next section. I looked over and I've seen the promised land. Most recently in my career, I wondered whether high performers have a particular worldview on clarity. Yo, Studicus, welcome, dude. It's good to see you, bud. It is going real good. I am highly caffeinated. It is snowing outside a lot. It snowed already like half a foot or something crazy by the time I woke up. Was not expecting that. It was 70 degrees earlier this week. We're reading a book that has made a big difference in my life on seeking clarity. We're reading the part on seeking clarity because there's a cool exercise in the back. Studicus. Yo, Mark. So Studicus is Hottie's best friend. Yeah. That's how, full circle, we all know each other. So Hottie and Studicus are best friends. 100%. But in order to be able to get through this in the time that I have available, I'm not going to be able to keep up with chat, guys. I'm just going to be honest with you. This exercise that I wanted you to impart with you guys is on page 90, I believe. Yeah, page 90. Oh no, Mark totally won. And we are on page 60. So we have 30 more pages to read in an hour, and we can do it, but I'm going to have to focus because I really want to get to all the way through this chapter. All right. So you guys are going to chat amongst yourselves. That'd be awesome. I'll try to throw in some games every once in a while. Of course, there are chat games that you can play as well with, or you can bet. You can do roulette. And I'll try to respond when I can, but in order to get through the rest of this, I'm gonna have to kind of blaze. And keep my throat from being too scratchy. Most recently in my career, I've wondered whether high performers have a particular worldview on clarity about themselves, what they want, and how to get it. I wondered what, if anything, they were clearer about than most people. To find out, I analyzed the comments of high performance students, called on achievement researchers, and spoke with certified high performance coaches about what gives their clients an edge. I also conducted structured interviews focused solely on the topic of clarity. With nearly 100 people who reported in our surveys as being high performers, I asked them questions such as, which things are you absolutely clear about that help you perform better than your peers? Oh, the music died. I just realized that. Hold on, guys. Let's get some music in the background. Let's do this. There we go. Sweet. Sweet, sweet, sweet. All right. I asked them questions such as, which things are you absolutely clear about that help you perform better than your peers? What do you focus on to stay clear about? What do you focus on to stay clear about what matters most? What aren't you clear about, and how does that affect your performance? What do you do when you are feeling uncertain or undirected? If you had to explain to someone you were mentoring what it is that makes you successful, what would you say? What else do you know about yourself beyond your values and strengths and plans that makes you successful? In almost every single question of who they were or what they wanted, the high performers had a great ability to focus on the future and divine how they would achieve excellence. They didn't just know who they were. Indeed, they rarely focused on their present personality or preferences. Instead, they consistently thought about who they wanted to be and how to become that. They didn't just know their strengths today, they knew what broader skill sets they would have to master in coming months and years to serve with excellence at the next level. They didn't just have clear plans to achieve their goals this quarter. They didn't just have clear plans to achieve their goals this quarter. They had lists of future projects that would lead them to a bigger dream. They didn't think just about how they could get what they personally wanted this month. They obsessed with that same focus about how to help others get what they wanted in their overall lives and careers. This future focus went well beyond what they wanted to become or how they would achieve what they and others wanted. They could also describe with great clarity how they wanted to feel in upcoming endeavors. And they knew specifically what conditions could destroy their enthusiasm, such as satisfaction, sense of satisfaction and growth. Okay, I'm gonna read that sentence again. They could also describe with great clarity how they wanted to feel in upcoming endeavors, and they knew specifically what conditions could destroy their enthusiasm, sense of satisfaction, and growth. That's awesome, Mark. That's awesome. I'm happy for you all. You guys are awesome. You're all awesome. Appreciate every single one of you. Yeah. Let's go. This future focus went well beyond. I think I'm reading that section. It could also describe with great clarity how they wanted to feel in upcoming endeavors. They knew specifically what conditions could destroy their enthusiasm, sense of satisfaction, and growth. I was reading that again. Out of this research, we discovered specific habits that help create this kind of next level clarity. Friendship is the best, 100%. All right, so practice number 1 for clarity. Here we go. Envision the future for. This is mainly like the main thought that we're talking about. We may not get through the rest of the chapter because we might just sit on this. This is what I really wanted to talk about today. These 4, the future 4. This is going to make such a big difference in your life if you go through this exercise. I don't care who you are. Anybody can benefit from this. So there's a quote here from James Allen to start off. Envision the future for. Dream lofty dreams. And as you dream, so you shall become. Your vision is the promise of what you shall one day be. Your ideal is the prophecy of what you shall at last Unveil by James Allen. All right. High performers are clear on their intentions for themselves, their social world, their skills, and their service to others. I call these areas self, social, skills, and service, or the future for self. Know thyself is the timeless advice inscribed on the Temple of Delphi in Greece over 2,400 years ago. But there's a difference between know thyself and imagine thyself. High performers know themselves, but they don't get stuck there. They are more focused on sculpting themselves into stronger and more capable people. There's another big difference: introspection versus intention. We found that high performers can articulate their future self with greater ease than others. Tactically, this means they tend to have a faster and more thoughtful, confident response when I ask them, if you could describe your ideal self in the future, the person you are trying to become, how would you describe that self? Let's go back. We're going to go back. This is important. For self, you need to be able to answer this question. Not be able to. I want you to think about this question. The question is, I'm not going to reread the whole thing. The question is, if you could describe your ideal self in the future, the person you are trying to become, how would you describe that self? And this is something you answered yourself. I don't need to know the answer. And reviewing recordings from my interviews, it's clear that high performers have thought about this more than others. The descriptions came sooner, with the coherent part, the part after the and good question, clocking in an average of 7 to 9 seconds faster. Their responses were less meandering than the others. When I asked people to describe their future best self in just 3 words, high performers also replied faster and in a more confident tone. Trying to imagine ourselves in the future with great clarity is hard work for anyone. That's why most people tend to do it only once per year. That's right, on New Year's Eve. But high performers spend a lot of time thinking about their best self and the ideal they're trying to grow into. In interviews with my 10 highest scoring and 10 lowest scoring clients on the high performance indicator, I found that the highest performing clients report thinking about their ideal future self and engaging in activities related to that almost 60 minutes more per week than the lowest scoring clients. For example, if you see yourself as a great communicator in the future, you would not only be more likely to imagine scenarios of yourself speaking with others, but also spend more time doing so. You're actively doing things that exhibit a future characteristic you desire. This isn't to say that high performers are more introspective than anyone else. Lots of people journal every week and could be said to be self-aware without being high performing. For example, lots of people think of themselves constantly, but much of that thinking is just negative ruminations. So what makes the difference is that high performers imagine a positive version of themselves in the future. And then they actively engage in trying to be that. This part about actively engaging is important. They aren't waiting to demonstrate a characteristic next week or next month. They're living into their best self now. Among Us tomorrow, so you can join as well. I don't think I'm doing Among Us tomorrow. I think I'm going to Zombies tomorrow. I had people that were kind of counting on that. You had your PS4 taken away. I'm sorry to hear that, man. You get the point. So let's encapsulate this service or this advice with something simple that you can do. Be more intentional about who you want to become. Have vision beyond your current circumstances. Imagine your best future self and start acting like that person today. This doesn't have to be complicated. When I was 19 years old and struggling to bounce back from a car accident, 3 one-word commands helped turn my life around. These commands, as you may know, are inspired by the lessons I had learned about life when I faced my own mortality. They are simple and concise. Live, love, matter. These 3 words became my clarity checkpoint in life. Every night, lying in bed just before dozing off, I would ask myself, did I live fully today? Did I love? Did I matter? I've asked those questions of myself every night for over 20 years. The truth is, I don't always go to bed with a resounding yes to all 3 questions. I have bad days just like everyone else. But the nights that I can say yes to those questions, when I feel clear and on track, are the nights I sleep best. That simple practice has given me more clarity than anything else I've done in life. Today, I still wear a bracelet engraved with those 3 words. I don't need the bracelet. I don't need to continue asking the questions. But I do because it keeps me clear and on track. This is similar to the work I had to do with Kate. Her identity formation practices had stagnated. This is bold. This next section is in bold. She hadn't thought about a better version of herself for a long time because she was already doing so well. So in one coaching session, I asked her to describe herself in various situations of her life over the past few weeks upon coming home while playing with her kids, when making a presentation at work, during interactions with friends, while out on a date with Mike. Then I asked her to do it again, this time describing herself in those exact same situations as if she were an even better future version of herself. She began to realize that who she had been in the past several weeks was not who she really imagined herself being in the upcoming years. That should be a wake-up call for anyone. Next, I asked her to identify 3 aspirational words that would describe her future self. She came up with alive, playful, grateful. None of her descriptions or words sounded like merely going through the motions, which was how she had felt recently. This activity was also simple but eye-opening for her. Sometimes it's the simple thought processes that help us reset our focus. Kate was genuinely confident, but the issue was she had stopped envisioning a future Kate to grow into. That's what was hurting her. No vision, no enthusiasm. So, I had her put her 3 aspirational words into her phone as an alarm label that went off 3 times per day. This means that as Kate went about her day, an alarm would go off and she'd see her work on her phone to remind her who she was and would become. So now it's your turn, and this is part of the exercise I want you all to do. Doesn't have to be right this second, but take time out of your week to do this, and it will make a huge impact on your future. Number 1, describe how you've perceived yourself in the following situations over the past several months with your significant other, at work, with the kids or team, in social situations with strangers. Granted, it's COVID, so that you have to kind of adapt it and maybe not be in the past several months, maybe, find the most recent time where you can describe how you perceive yourself in those 4 situations. With a significant other, somebody you care about like that, at work, kids or team that you work with, and in social situations with strangers. Number 2, now you need to ask yourself, is that who I really, is that who I really see myself being in the future? You need to ask yourself, how would my future self look, feel, and behave differently in those situations? It may not be any different. This is an anecdotal comment on the book, but it may not be any different than how you feel now. But as you evaluate yourself in those 4 areas, think about it also as your future self, person you envision yourself becoming or wanting to be. Is that how you would also handle yourself and feel in those same, how you'd still perceive yourself in those situations? And number 3, if you could describe yourself in just 3, I know it is hard to do with the pandemic. Everything is so different. 100%. Everything is so different. That's what I was hearing, that they found a vaccine. You're thinking about lunch. Nice. All right. Number 3, if you could describe yourself in just 3 aspirational words that would sum up who you are at your best in the future, what would those words be? Why are those 3 words meaningful to you? Once you find your words, put them in your phone as an alarm label that goes off several times per day. I have one because I went through the same exercise several months ago. Mine, I worded it a little bit differently because of the way I liked it to remind me. And so my reminder that goes off throughout the day, my 3 priorities are peace, at peace, fulfilled, proud. I realize pride is a 2-edged sword. The pride that I'm looking at and what I know that to be, it represents pride in others and how I've impacted others. It is not in personal pride, like things I've necessarily done. Kind of is. It's a 2-edged sword, but I know what it represents to me. So at peace, fulfilled, proud. Those are mine. And it's made a huge impact. I see it every single day. Ever since I made that reminder on my phone, I can tell you it has slowly made an impact in my life and my intention every day. Being present in the moment, knowing even on the most difficult and challenging days, thank you, Studa, that keeps me on track. I start my day seeing, okay, this is the intention I'm living this day with. And I highly recommend you doing the same exercise for yourself. And in Smile More on the Discord, there is the clarity chart. I already downloaded it for you guys. I condensed it so it's there. It's you can go through this. This is at the end of the exercise, this whole chapter, because there's several other things beyond just that was just self. That's just part 1. And there's 4 parts. It's so good, and then it wraps it all up. Like, going through this exercise is such a big impact on my life, and it really will make a big impact on anybody that does it. I'll keep saying it because it's so true. Social. Step 2. High performers also have clear intentions about how they want to treat other people. They have high situational awareness and social intelligence, which help them succeed and lead. Great. You're good now. Hadi says you're definitely doing it. Fantastic. I really recommend it. You can do the rest of this, but without having the book, without having the directions on these, they don't stand alone as well. This is the most important thing, the clarity chart. Habit number 1, seek clarity. That's what we're talking about right now. Out of this entire book, it's the most important chapter. You can get the whole book for free if you really want to. I would recommend it, the audio version. We'll probably go back and read a couple parts of it. Love, gratitude, and happiness. Dude, I love that. Love, gratitude, happiness. Set it in your phone right now, Studa. 3 times throughout the day. First thing when you wake up, shortly after you wake up. Maybe shortly middle of the day when you normally feel tired, like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, whenever you feel that first midday slump. Set it for then. And then set it like an hour or 2 before bed, because you shouldn't be looking at your phone an hour before bed, in theory. In theory. I'm terrible about it. But set it at least an hour before bed. So 3 times on your phone. High performers also have clear intentions about how they want to treat other people. They have high situational awareness and social intelligence, which help them succeed and lead. In every situation that matters, they know who they want to be and how they want to interact with others. If this sounds like common sense, let's find out whether it's common practice in your life. All I ask as we go through this today, I'm not reading right now, but all I ask as we go through this today is that you're honest with yourself. That's it. I don't need to know anything about you as I read this. I know what it means to me. And I believe it could mean a lot to anybody that takes the time to pause and really go through it. I don't need to know anything though. So if it asks a question here, you don't have to answer it in chat. It can be just something you internalize. Just want to clarify that because there's a lot of that as we go through this rest of this chapter. And I may have to make this a 2-part session, guys. Just because I've got to get out and the weather doesn't seem to be getting much better as far as groceries are concerned. I've been putting it off all weekend, and you're going to pick acceptance, patience, perseverance. Solid. I love that. Acceptance, patience, perseverance. 3 times in your phone right now. Do it. No excuses. All right, guys. Those are awesome, aren't they? You had awesome ones too, Studa. And that's the thing. They're so personal. Like, I feel like no matter what you put, as long as it's true to you and really answers that self question of who you want, that future self question, they're going to be right, whatever those 3 are. And it's going to help you define who you want to be, whatever that means to you. It's so impactful. Like, it's awesome. Just do it. All right, guys. Before you went into your last, these are the questions that seem like common sense. Okay, hold on. Let's back up a little bit because we kind of jumped back. So for social, in every situation that matters, they know who they want to be and how they want to interact with others, which seems like common sense. So let's answer these questions. See if it's common practice in your life. Before you went into your last meeting, did you think about how you wanted to interact with each person in that meeting? Before your last phone call, did you think about the tone that you would choose to use with the other person? On your last night out with your partner or friends, did you set an intention for the energy that you wanted to create? When you were dealing with that last conflict, did you think about your values and how you wanted to come across to the other person when you talked to them? Do you actively think about how to be a better listener? How to generate positive emotions with others? How you can be a good role model? Questions of this kind may help you look within and gauge your own level of intention. It doesn't say own there, but just to, in the interest of keeping true to the book. Questions of this kind may help you look within and gauge your level of intention. Way too often. Way too often. On that last one, do you actually think about how to be a better listener? Yeah, honestly, how to generate positive emotions with others and how to be a good role model. That's like, even as I read that, I'm like, that's like my ongoing thought. It's my driving motivation in a lot of what I do. And I know I need to be a better listener. That's one thing I'm consciously aware of and constantly aware of. And same, trying to generate positive emotions in others. That's the whole reason I do this. Go live like this. And of course, be a good role model. Setting that good example for your children, my children, Marcus, people around me, people I work with. 100%. People that watch the stream. Oh, that's something that's on my mind every single day. I found that high performers also regularly ask themselves a few primary questions right before interacting with people. They ask questions like these. How can I be a good person or leader in this upcoming situation? I would recommend writing these down. There's 3. Excuse me. So these are the 3 questions you need to write down and ask yourself before interacting with people. If you know you're about to interact with people, I'm not talking about going grocery shopping necessarily. Although you could and should practice there, actually. In the 4-Hour Workweek, he talks about using situations like that to practice. Similar concepts. How can I be a good person or leader in this upcoming situation? 2, what will the other person or people need? 3, what kind of mood or tone do I want to set? That's it. How can I be a good person in this or leader in this upcoming situation? What does the other person need or the other people need? And what kind of mood or tone do I want to set? Here are the more interesting findings. When asked to choose words that describe their best interactions with others, high performers most often responded with words such as thoughtful, appreciative, respectful, open, honest, empathetic, loving, caring, kind, present, and fair. So those are how they described how they wanted to feel in upcoming social interactions, right? So think those through. Think about that. Think about those feelings when you're around others and how you would embody those in social interactions. Being thoughtful, appreciative, respectful, open, honest, empathetic, loving, caring, kind, present, and fair. Mark, I'm so sorry to hear that, man. You just find that out right now? Sorry, man. It's rough. Want to talk about it? Reach out to me in Discord. Talk about it privately. No, dude. Mark, 100%. If you want to talk later, though, reach out to me. Yeah. Sorry, man. Take care of that. Be with your family. Sorry to hear that, bud. You need somebody to talk to, though, hit me up in Discord. %. I understand. Take care of yourself, bud. When asked to choose 3 words that best define how they would like to be treated by others, high performers most valued being respected and appreciated. The issue of respect specifically comes up a lot in conversations with high performers. They want to be respected and they want to demonstrate respect with others. And this matters to them in all areas of their life, including at home. Love you too, Mark, man. Go take care of yourself, seriously. Self-care. Love you, bud. A field study, and this matters to them in all areas of their life, including at home. A field study of 200 couples in the United States who were married 40 years or longer and still reported being happy found that the couple's number 1 value and strength was respect. The 4 worst behaviors that lead to divorce are criticalness, defensiveness, contempt, stonewalling. They often feel so offensive precisely because they smack of devaluing or disrespect. So let's go back. The 4 worst behaviors that lead The 4 worst behaviors that lead to divorce are criticalness, defensiveness, contempt, and stonewalling. And often feel so offensive precisely because they smack of devaluing or disrespect. It's really hard to get over the lack of respect. In fact, I'd say nearly impossible in a relationship. In a friendship, you can definitely learn to respect somebody again. And I think you can, and even in a relationship, at least to some degree. Boy, is it hard. Respect is so important. What is apparent across all performers, this is in bold. What is apparent across all high performers is that they anticipate positive social interactions, and they strive consciously and consistently to create them. It's a universal finding. When it comes to their interactions with others, they don't just go on autopilot. They're intentional, and that improves their performance. In looking to the future, it's clear they've thought about the big picture of their social life too. They've thought about how they want to be remembered. They think about their character and legacy. High performers are looking out there beyond today, beyond the meeting, beyond the month's to-dos and obligations. They're consistently wondering, how do I want those I love and serve to remember me? Working with Kate, it was always clear that she tremendously valued and loved her family. Yet, she sensed she was often juggling so many things, she wasn't as present with them as she wanted to be. She once said, "I feel like they deserve more from me, but I don't know if I have that much more to give." Do you know what the issue with that is? When you are constantly juggling and feel depleted, you don't think about the future. You're just trying to survive today, and so you start to lose your clear intention for your interactions with your family and teams tomorrow. This is a common struggle with achievers. They want to be better lovers and parents, but feel stretched, too thin. Their mistake is the same one Kate was making. She kept thinking that more time was what she needed to be a good mom or wife. One day, she thought, I'll finally get to be the mom I want to be with my kids and the wife I hope to be. You and I both know that one day really means never. To help Kate change and improve her relationships, I had to imagine in advance her interactions with people and then live into those intentions each day. I had her imagine in advance her interactions with people and then live into those intentions each day. She didn't need more time or to wait one more day. It wasn't about quantity, but about quality. So I asked Kate to try this activity, which I recommend you try too. All right, these are our 3 more steps. Write them down. Let's go. Write down each person's name in your immediate family and team. Some people don't have a whole lot of immediate family, so this is broader than just family, but for most people, you should do about your immediate family. Write down each person's name. At least I think you should. Follow this however you want. Write down each person's name in your immediate family and team. That's step one. Then, step 2. Imagine that in 20 years, each person is describing why they love and respect you. If each person could say just 3 words to summarize the interactions they have had with you in life, what would you want those 3 words to be? Do it for each person. Then third, next time you're with each of those people, approach your time with them as an opportunity to demonstrate those 3 qualities. Have those words as the goal when you're meeting with them or spending time with them, and start living into those qualities. Challenge yourself to be that person now. This will bring life back into your relationships. I said it to Kate all the time. It's almost impossible just to go through the motions when you have clear and compelling intentions. Next, skills. Next, we found that high performers are very clear about the skill sets they need to develop now to win in the future. They don't draw a blank when you ask them, what 3 skills are you currently working to develop so you'll be more successful next year? When I'm brought into work with Fortune 500 senior executives, I have them open their calendars and talk me through their upcoming days, weeks, and months. It turns out that executives who score higher on the high performance indicator tend to have more blocks of time already scheduled for learning than do their peers with lower scores. There's an hour blocked out here for taking an online training, another there for an executive coaching, another for reading, and yet another for a mastery-oriented hobby. Piano, language learning, cooking class, and so on. They've built a curriculum for themselves and they are actively engaged in learning. What's clearly linking all these blocks of scheduled time is the desire to develop specific skill sets. The online training is about how to code or manage finances better. The executive coaching is focused on developing listening skills. The reading focuses on a specific skill they've been trying to master, such as strategy, listening in meetings, or story development. The hobby is something they take seriously. They aren't doing it just for pleasure per se, but to actively develop mastery. Here's the big distinction. High performers are also working on skills that focus on what I call their primary field of interest, PFI. They aren't scattershot learners. They've honed in on their passionate interests, and they set up activities and routines to develop skills in those areas. They love music. They laser in on what kind of music they want to learn and then study it. Their PFI, primary field of interest, is specific. They don't just say music and then try to learn all forms of music, playing guitar, joining an orchestra, singing with a band. They choose, say, a 5-string guitar, find a master teacher, and make time for practice sessions that focus more on skill building than on casual exploration. In other words, they know their passions and set up time to dial in the skills that will turn those passions into proficiencies. This means high performers approach their learning not as generalists, but as specialists. Since by now you have some familiarity with my work, I'll use my career as an example. And again, I've scrolled back up just to make sure we are all clear. These are not my words. This is Brendan Burchard, high performance coach. Since by now you have some familiarity with my work, well, I'll use my career as an example. I began as a change management analyst for a global consulting company. I was right out of grad school. In my first 6 months on the job, I approached my work the same most of my peers did, as a generalist. I was trying to learn everything about the company, my clients, the world. That's what you do when you're a novice. But soon, I realized that many of the partners had specific areas of expertise. And if I was going to stand out among the other 80,000 plus employees, I'd better develop a skill set fast. So I chose leadership, which was also my area of focus in grad school. Specifically, I wanted to develop the skill of knowing how to build curriculum for leaders and their team. Leadership was my PFI. Curriculum building was the skill. I requested and created relevant projects. My career skyrocketed. When I left corporate America to become a full-time writer and trainer, I made similar decisions. I made my PFI personal development, but so had many thousands of other writers, bloggers, speakers, and trainers. So how would I stand out? I realized that the skill most of these folks lacked wasn't related to their topic, but rather to their marketing of the topic. I was in the same boat. Personal development was always a passion, and I already spent most of my personal reading time studying psychology, neuroscience, sociology, and behavioral economics. I was fascinated by those subjects. So I didn't need more focus there. I needed more focus on building my brand. So I made a huge shift. I made marketing my PFI. This was a monumental decision for me because I had absolutely no talent, skills, strengths, or background in marketing. But I recognized it as the key that would unlock the door to success in my new career. So I started drilling down into skill sets. I didn't focus on every skill related to marketing as a generalist would do, just as I hadn't focused on everything related to leadership in general at my corporate gig. Welcome back. Glad you're back, Mark. Instead, I zeroed in on email marketing and video production. I took online courses on these topics and I went to seminars. I hired a coach. My calendar was full of building those two skills. For 18 months, I focused almost exclusively on learning and trying new things related to email marketing and making videos. Specifically, I learned to capture emails and send those subscribers weekly newsletters that linked to a featured video training on my blog. I also learned how to put all my videos in an online members area and charge people money to access them. 18 months later, I found I succeeded as an early pioneer in online education. Thousands of people were signing up for my online courses, some of which cost over $1,000. Many people in my industry thought it was some sort of magic act or assumed that I was some kind of online genius. But neither was true. I had simply looked to the future, identified what it would take to win in the industry in coming years, and then realigned my activities to develop the skills that I needed to succeed. The lesson was simple, but powerful. This is in bold. Look to the future. Look to the future. Identify key skills and obsessively develop those skills. Look to the future, identify key skills, and obsessively develop those skills. Obsessively develop those skills. Obsessively develop those skills. This sounds easy, but in a world where we are so distracted and reactive, it has become a lost art. We just forget to develop our own curriculum in life, even those of us at the highest levels. I remember I once had the blessing of being brought in to speak to Oprah and her executive team. The aha moment was this idea that high performers build their own curriculum. Obsessively. Yes, obsessively. Obsessively. Do it. Just do it. All right, so he's in front of Oprah, right? The aha moment was this idea that high performers build their own curriculum. I remember being surprised that after I finished the training, of all the things I had said, the team posted this one quote from me to summarize our session. If you leave your growth to randomness, you'll always live in the land of mediocrity. That was the quote. If you leave your growth to randomness, you'll always live in the land of mediocrity. I hope the takeaway is clear. No matter your current level of performance, clarifying your PFI and the skills you need to master for your next level of success must be a priority. Reconnecting with your passion and setting up structure to develop more skills related to it is a game changer. It's just one thing Kate did to burst through her feelings of just going through the motion. We spent some time talking about what it was going to take to win in her PFI in the next 10 years, and realized she could learn new skills related to her industry. After she signed up for a few courses and found a mentor at work to help learn more, she sent me this email. Amazingly, at some point in my career, I got so good at what I was doing that I forgot how much I really loved to learn. I took my eyes off what I needed to learn in the future, but today I finished an online course and I can't describe how accomplished that simple act made me feel. It was like graduating from high school all over again. That kind of optimism for the future came back into my life because learning opens the mind and begs it to play. I can't believe changing how I feel was as easy as choosing to learn again. That was her whole thing, or that excerpt from it. So, in summary of this section here, which was on skills, right? Developing your skills, the third pillar of the four futures that you have to think about. You can follow Kate's lead by trying these three things. Think about your primary field of interest, your PFI, and write down 3 skills that make people successful in that field. So whatever your PFI, whatever it is that you really like to do, your primary field of interest that you're pursuing, or that you want to be pursuing, even if it's going to be 10 years down the road, if you're still in high school or, whatever the case may be, what you think you want to do with your life, write it down. And then write down underneath that 3 skills that you think, or what you've seen, make people successful in that field. It might require some research. If nothing comes to mind right off the bat, do some research. Step 2, under each skill, write down what you will do to develop those 3 skills. Write down under each one of those 3 skills what you're going to do to develop that skill. Will you read, practice, get a coach, go to training? When? Set up a plan to develop those skills, put it in your calendar, and stay consistent. Number 3. Now think about your PFI your primary field of interest and write down 3 skills that you will need in order to succeed in that field 5 or 10 years from now. So it's 2 parts. You do it, what you need to succeed in it now and what you would need to succeed in it in the future. In other words, try to imagine the future. Try to imagine the future. What new skill sets will you likely need then? Keep those skills on your radar and start developing them sooner rather than later. A forever student. Dude, forever student. I love that so much. I think I've said those exact words, Hadi. I'm fairly certain I have. If not, not to you specifically or not to the stream specifically, I definitely have used those exact words. I am a forever student. 100%. That's why I love going to college. I feel really good every time I learn something, and it feels like a huge accomplishment every time I pass class. Absolutely, student kiss. That's a good way to describe all of that. That emotion that you feel from learning. Develop new skills. It's good. It's real good. Take a class. The one that I can't wait to take for me, and it's the first one that's happening as soon as the vaccine's widespread, is acting. Something I've really wanted to do. And it's the next step for me in developing my voice acting and being a better voice actor and being able to read better for narrations. Because I love reading and I love being able to but embody the characters in the book. The best way for me to do that is to get better at acting. I'm going to take an acting class. I'm waiting for the vaccine to be widespread. That's next for me. That's one of the things that's next for me. And I know Marcus would really enjoy it too because he's a ham. So I think we're going to try to find something that we can both do together. It's going to be fun. All right. So next, the last pillar. We've got 15 minutes, guys. We got to blaze. Service. This is a really big one. This is why this is part of this Sunday streams is part of my service pillar. I'm running out of water, but I don't even have time to get up right now. Guys, the snowstorm. We're still alive. Good thing I have battery backup. Network hasn't died yet. All right, service. It had been too long since Kate felt the difference she was making. She had lost the spirit of service to others. And that's what had caused her to start merely going through the motions at work. Though nothing there had changed, she began perceiving her days as a series of empty tasks. Specifically, while she was a phenomenal leader at work, and she truly felt the spirit of service in leading her Specifically, while she was a phenomenal leader at work and she truly felt the spirit of service in leading her teams, she had lost her connection to those ultimately affected by their work, her customers. It turned out that Kate hadn't actually spoken with any of her customers in years. She had become an internal executive in a big company far removed from the front lines and the real people that her organization served. So she started a monthly practice of visiting her customers and really listening to them and asking what they wanted from her company in the future. Soon, her enthusiasm for her work came roaring back. The last of the 4 futures is after self, social, and skills concerns how high performers look to tomorrow and consider their service to the world. Specifically, high performers care deeply about the difference they are going to make for others and in the future in general. So they cater today's activities to delivering those contributions with heart and elegance. This may sound like a broad description, but it's how high performers talk. They often speak of how all the extra efforts they make to wow people today are vitally important to leaving a lasting legacy tomorrow. That's why, for many high performers, the details of how they treat others or approach their work truly matters. The high-performing waiter obsesses over whether the table is set with symmetry and precision, not just because it's his job, but because he cares about the overall customer experience and how the restaurant will be perceived now and in the future. I relate to that on such a core level. I waited tables for 10 years. Like I have not actually read through this entire chapter. I worked through the concepts with somebody. I've skimmed, like I said at the beginning, I've skimmed through this book. This is the first time I've read that, and I identify with that on such a core level. I'm not saying that I'm a high-performing waiter, other than the fact that I did all that. And I did it for 10 years, and I really cared about how the restaurant was perceived and the overall customer experience. Anyways, the extraordinary product designer obsesses about style, fit, and function, not just to create strong sales through this season, but also to create devoted fans and to serve a larger brand vision. What ties all these things together is the future focus conveyed in this question. How can I serve people with excellence and make an extraordinary contribution to the world? The opposite is easy to spot. This is in bold. When someone, you can definitely relate. I had a Studa, like, there's something actually from this book that when I was skimming earlier today that I'm hoping I can find again, that when I read, I thought about you specifically. Okay? And if I don't find it before I kill the stream here in just a little bit, I will definitely find it again, and I will take a picture and share it with you because it's cool, and I want to share it with you, Studa. I think you'll appreciate it. You just came to mind when I was flipping through. All right. So this is the part that's in bold. When someone becomes disconnected from the future and their contribution to it, they underperform. They have nothing to get excited about tomorrow, so they stop caring about the details today. Heck yeah, I appreciate you. I appreciate you too, dude. They have nothing to get excited about tomorrow, so they stop caring about the details today. That is why it's so vital that leaders continually engage their people in conversations about tomorrow. What will provide the most value to those you serve? This is a question high performers obsess about, and I don't use the word obsess lightly. Obsessively. Hottie? I don't use the word obsess lightly. Again, this is the first time I've read this. Just want to clarify. Read this all the way through. I've only did the first part of it myself, reading through it and working through it with somebody live on the phone. So I find that amusing to me. He doesn't use the word obsess lightly. In our interviews, we found that high performers give an extraordinary amount of thought to questions of service, how to add value. How to add value, inspire those around them, and make a difference. Their attention to this in this area could best be described as a search for relevance, differentiation, and excellence. Relevance has to do with eliminating things that don't matter anymore. High performers don't live in the past, and they don't keep pet projects at the forefront. They ask, what matters now, and how can I deliver it? Differentiation allows high performers to look at their industry, their career, and even their relationships for what makes them unique. They want to stand out for who they are and to add more value than others do. Excellence comes from an internal standard that asks, how can I deliver beyond what's expected? For high performers, the question, how can I serve with excellence, gets more attention than perhaps any other. Whether you consider yourself a high performer, this concept has been around. I had to be careful how I'm so passionate, so passionate about this. The concept's been around for a really long time. not unique to Brendan, not unique to other motivational speakers or people that want to inspire you. But you feel like you're a high performer? I feel like you are too, Hadi. There's a test you can take. Yeah, right. I didn't call it this. I wouldn't have called it until I started reading this book, honestly. There's this test here is free. High Performance Institute assessment tool. You can get your scores. Hadi is definitely a high performer. But how can I serve with excellence? If you take anything away from today, ask yourself that question. Because once you have the answer, you will find true joy. I mean that, in case you can't tell from how passionately I said it. In stark contrast again, underperformers are too focused on self over service. They give more mind share to what do I want now than to what did those I serve want now. They ask, how can I get by with the least amount of effort? Instead of, how can I serve with excellence? Underperformers ask, why don't people recognize my unique strengths? While high performers are asking, how can I serve in unique ways? At the end of this chapter, you'll get a worksheet tying together all the ideas the future for, and this is where we're going to be tying it up today. We're not going to get to the end of the chapter. Not quite. There's a lot more to this. It's just so good. We're about halfway to where I want to be. About 15 pages or so left. But in the Discord, like I was hinting before, there is the worksheet. And the instructions that are included will walk you through it. It's this here. The clarity chart. Do that today. I mean it. I know, Hadi, you said you were going to. Studa, do it. Anybody that's in chat, anybody that comes back and watches this later, the link's in the Discord. You can find a link to my Discord anywhere. Honestly, I put it everywhere. It's really easy to get access to it. It's in the channel Smile More. Do it. Seek that clarity. Find that clarity. Put those reminders in your phone. So, at the end of this chapter, you'll get a worksheet, which is in the Discord under Smile More. It's a PDF you can download right now. Or you can go to highperformancehabits.com/tools. That'll, if you put in your information, you'll get right here. I would recommend doing that too. I didn't put the link in the Discord. I'm gonna put it in Twitch right now though. It's highperformancehabits.com/tools or HPX tools, something like that. I think it gets shortened, but this link does work. High performance, if I can spell performance, habits.com/tools will take you. You have to put your email address in to get to this page that I'm looking at right now. If you just want to do the tool clarity chart, I did include that in the Discord. I didn't want to put all of the stuff. I'm not trying to circumvent him and his list creation, because I know that's how he does everything, communicates. It's one of the reasons he's so good at what he does, is getting your name on his email list. But you can get the entire audiobook that I've been reading to you today, which I will not be reading in its entirety on Twitch. You can get the entire thing for free. Obviously, it's not me reading it. And you can do the high performance assessment tool. And as you read through or listen to the book, you'll get to the point where you get to the performance prompts, which we will probably do at some point. I didn't mean to just download that. I've already got them all downloaded. And the influence model as well. You'll get a worksheet tying together all the ideas of the future for. For now, let me introduce you to a section that will conclude each of the practices in this book called performance prompts. These prompts are sentence completion activities. That'd be a good way to wrap up today's stream. And these performance are sentence completion activities that will help you reflect further on the important concepts you're learning. I highly recommend you write it out and complete each of these statements in a separate journal. If you would like a companion workbook with all of the prompts included and more space for reflection, visit highperformancehabits.com/tools. Hi, no, okay, I thought I put higher for some reason, but yeah, just high performance. I got it right the first time. Cool. Whether you use the worksheet or just grab a journal of your own and freeform your thoughts, I suggest you sit and write out you want of life right now. I'm putting in the right now because I'm about to write it up. I'm about to conclude the stream, so this is the perfect time. I'm not going to be in your face. You're not going to have any distractions. Turn on some music. Focus. Do this. No growth. No goals, no goals equals no growth. No clarity equals no change. So these are your performance prompts. I'm going to go through all the performance prompts, even though I'm not going to be able to read the inner text in between just because we're running out of time. But these performance prompts are enough to keep you engaged and a good activity to do after I finish the stream. And then next Sunday, I'm going to go back in and start reading the next practice in finding clarity. But I'm going to read all the performance prompts now so you have something to do between now and next Sunday. 1. When I think about the future for self, social, skills, service, the area that I haven't had as much intention in as I should is blank. 2. The areas in which I have not been considering those I serve and lead are fill in the blank. 3. To leave a lasting legacy, the contributions I can start making now are blank. Fill it in. We're skipping ahead to the end of practice 2 for those performance prompts. 1, without context, I apologize, but I think this is going to be good to carry us over to the next Sunday. 1, the emotions I've been experiencing a lot lately are, fill it out. 2, the areas of life where I am not having the feelings I want to are, fill it out. 3, the feelings I want to experience more of in life include, write them out. 4, the next time I feel a negative emotion come up, the thing I'm going to say to myself is, write it out. Prepare for that negative emotion. This is not in the book. Prepare for the negative emotion so that the next time it happens, you're ready to combat it. We're skipping practice 3 because we're going to go back over that next Sunday. But again, performance prompts, so you'll be ready. Number 1, the activities that I currently do that bring me the most meaning are, fill out the blank. 2, the activities or projects I should stop doing because they are not bringing me any sense of meaning are, fill it out. 3, if I was going to add new activities that bring me more meaning, the first ones I would add would be, fill it out. All right. And those writing prompts will bring you up to the clarity chart, which I'm going to quickly go over, and we're going to call it good. The clarity chart, which is downloadable both on the link that's in chat as well as on my Discord. Full credit goes to Brendan Burchard. I did not create it, but he's provided it. I'm providing it vicariously through, not vicariously, but I'm providing it through him, through my Discord. So self, you're going to write down 3 words that describe your best self. Some of the ideas for how I can embody these 3. And then after you've done that, you're going to write down some ideas for how you can embody those words more often in the upcoming weeks. And under social, you're going to write down 3 words that would define or could define how you want to treat others and how you want to treat other people. Then after you've done that, you're going to write down some people in your life whom you could improve your interactions with in this week. And you can do this weekly. Like, this is not just this week, but keep doing this with intention. Third, skills. The 5 skills I am trying to develop most in my life right now. Then after you've written those down, and this is the worksheet that you're going to work on after the stream is over, or maybe you're already working on it now. It's totally fine. The way I can learn or practice these skills, those skills this week. So you're going to write down these things, and then each week you need to answer these questions if you really want to live with intention. I don't do it. I'll be honest with you. I need to do it more often. It would make a big difference if I did. I know that. And I highly encourage you to do what I have not managed to do yet. I'll be honest. But if you manage to write all of these out and have them in a place where you see them every day and really intently focus on them, it's going to make a huge difference, because just the self aspect, the 3 things for your best self that we went over in the beginning, that aspect alone and putting that reminder in my phone has made such a big impact. I know the social skills and service. The service I've been doing, and the other ones as well, I do anyways, it's in a different format. I just didn't go through the actual exercises. Doing it on with a weekly intention, though. Can you imagine the impact that would have? I know it would be great. So for skills, the way I can learn or practice these skills, those skills this week includes blank. Service. 3 simple ways I can add value to those around me this week are good vibes, Chow. Oh yeah, dude. Oh yeah. We're about to wrap it up, Chow, but it's good to see you in chat, my dude. The 3 simple ways I can add value to those around me this week are blank. Oh my gosh. I can't believe we've managed to keep the stream going, guys. Thank God for battery backups. That's what, 3 times now the power has died? While live? God, I love battery backup, because honestly, we would be dead in the water so long ago. Anyways, all right, guys, I gotta wrap this up. It's way past 3, well, not way past, but it's past 3 o'clock. I gotta go. I got stuff I gotta get done. 3 simple ways I can add value to those around me this week are, and you're gonna write those down. Once you've written down those 3 ways that you can add value to those around you, then you need to write down something I would do this week. Ups are great. Battery backups? Oh yeah, dude. Something I could do this week with real focus and excellence to help someone else. What is something you can do this week with real focus and excellence to help someone else? Thank you for a really great stream. Hey, you know what? You are welcome. My pleasure. What's up, dude? All right, final thoughts here, guys. Focus on the feeling, right? Focus. These are your future focuses. These are the 4 future focuses. So focus on it. The main feeling I want to cultivate in my life. Feelings that I want to cultivate in my life, relationships, and work this week include blank, blank, blank. The way I will generate these feelings is to blank, blank, blank. Chow, you're going to have to watch the VOD, my man. Right? You're going to have to watch the VOD. It's going to be on YouTube here in a couple hours as well. Well, actually, no, tomorrow it'll be on YouTube, but it'll be available instantly as soon as the stream is over here on Twitch. All right, guys. And then the last thing today from High Performance Habits from Brendan Burchard, Sleek Clarity, the Clarity Chart, available in Discord on the Smile More server channel, Smile More channel in the Gaming Sense server. Define what's meaningful. Something I can do or create that would bring me more meaning in life is blank. Okay? That's it. You've been challenged. You have your homework. You've got your performance prompts. You've got your activities for the week. You've got your clear intentions for the rest of your life if you do these exercises properly. I don't feel like I could have given you more today. This has been so big in my life. So please, if you're just tuning in right now, please take a moment today, tomorrow, some point this week, go back and rewatch this. Find the clarity chart in the Discord server under the Smile More channel. Download it, work yourself through it, and put it up somewhere you can see it every day. And if you need somebody to talk to, you know where to find me. I'll be on Discord. But I'll be back live tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Central for some zombie slaying shenanigans. You know it. In the meantime, keep it real, keep it classy. I'll see you all on the flip side. And of course, you are beautiful. You are wonderful. You are talented. Don't ever let anyone try to suggest otherwise. If you ever need somebody to talk to, please hit me up in Discord and I will be happy to chat with you. Have a wonderful day, Studa, Hottie, Chow, Lieutenant Dan, Mark, if you're still hanging out. You too, Chow. You too, Lieutenant Dan. Have a wonderful day, everybody. I'll see you guys tomorrow night. Love you all. Peace.